Hey everyone, I'm Mike from theparkprodigy.com, and on today's video, we're going to break down 9 of the best Universal Orlando app tips and tricks. That's right, we're going to get you as prepared as possible to use the Universal Orlando app once you get down to Orlando. And as you can imagine, apps have become such a big part of any theme park vacation, and that's why we decided to create this video, just to make sure that you are as prepared as possible going into your next trip. So if you're in the process of planning a Universal trip, you're going to want to be sure to stick around till the end of this video. As always, I'm excited for this video, so let's go get started. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. Like I said, we're about to break down some of the best tips and tricks, some of the most common reasons why you would want to use the Universal Orlando app during your next vacation. And very simply, you are going to need the Universal Orlando app if you are visiting Universal. There is so much inside of the app that you will find helpful, and you'll see it's going to make your day just run that much smoother. It's also going to be a lot easier for you to transition into using the app if you get a little bit familiar with it beforehand. And that's why we created this video, just to kind of explain like, hey, these are some of the tips and tricks. These are some of the benefits of using the app, and then you can go and have an amazing vacation. But we're going to jump right in, and we're going to start with probably one of the most popular reasons to use the Universal Orlando app, and that is the park hours, but specifically early park admission. Now, one of the most common questions we get at the Park Prodigy is about early park admission and just families trying to make the most out of their days in the park and make sure that they are taking advantage of that extra hour. Now, one of the reasons why we're starting out with this tip and trick is because you'll see that sometimes the Universal Orlando website and the Universal Orlando app are not in line, meaning that sometimes the Universal Orlando app will actually have early park admission hours released before they update the website. And I'm not talking about a couple hours before. It could be days, or in certain situations, it could be even like a week or 2 weeks, where the Universal Orlando app will actually have the most recent early park admission schedule, and the website will not. Now, again, another reason why this would be important is, of course, you're trying to plan your time in the parks, and typically Universal will release it 30 days out. So you're already at a tight window, right? Because 30 days is so close to your vacation. You really need to know, like, hey, which parks are open for early admission? Because, of course, Universal doesn't always have both of the parks open. Sometimes it's one or the other. So if you're only visiting for one day at a park-to-park ticket, let's say, you really do need to know which park you're going to start out at. And that's why we always recommend to download the Universal Orlando app, because they might release the early park admission schedule on the app before they release it to the website. Okay, so moving on to number 2, and we have the capabilities to turn your tickets into e-tickets. Now, here at the Park Prodigy, we sell discounted Universal Orlando tickets, and because we're a travel agency, you do have to pick your tickets up from the ticket kiosks right outside the park. Now, that's not a big deal for most people, and this next part is really kind of like I think what pushes a lot of families over, because they feel a lot more comfortable, that they're not going to lose their ticket, let's say, once they pick it up. So the cool thing about the Universal Orlando app is that if you are buying your tickets, or if you're picking up tickets from any of the ticket kiosks or the will call booths, anything like that, you can turn your ticket into an e-ticket on the Universal Orlando app. Very simply, you just open up the app, you'll be able to enter the ticket numbers on the back of each ticket, and it will turn it into an e-ticket just like it sounds. And then if you have a multi-day ticket, you essentially just use that ticket on your phone every single day. Same thing with the express passes. Again, just a lot of really cool features some families love the lanyards, like I'm old school, so I do still wear a lanyard when I go to the parks. But again, a lot of families don't want to lose a ticket, so they'd rather turn it into an e-ticket. And we just thought that was another cool thing to add to the list. Okay, moving on to number 3, and this one has some mixed reviews, and we have mobile ordering. Now, again, one of the other bigger reasons why you do want to download the Universal Orlando app is for mobile food and drink ordering. And we simply feel like if you are not taking advantage of the mobile ordering, especially if you're doing those quick service type of restaurants, that you are wasting time. Now, on the flip side, we have heard some negative feedback from guests inside the parks that say like, yeah, we ordered a food and they weren't very organized. It was a mess. When I have used it, I can't speak to that. I've had good experiences using the Universal Orlando mobile app. I've had even better experiences using the mobile ordering over at Disney for food. So, I could just say that I can see the benefit Now, with that being said, you do have to make sure that you are familiar, with the process. And essentially the way it works is with mobile ordering, you can easily place your food and drink order and bypass the waiting line to essentially get up there and order your food. Now, one of the reasons why I really love this is I think as you're waiting on those lines, right, to get onto the rides, you start passing the menu around and everyone can, because I am personally the type of person, I need to actually think about what I want to eat, right? I'm from New York. We take food very, very seriously. So I need time to figure out exactly what I want to order. And I think the fact that you're waiting on all these lines, it's like the perfect combination, right? So what you want to do is you definitely want to set up your account and make sure that you have a credit card in your mobile wallet on the app. And that will just allow you to, again, streamline it, pay for your food once everyone does pick exactly what they want out. And then the other cool thing is you can order your food at off-peak times to avoid even, bigger crowds or even bigger waits with the mobile ordering. And what we typically see is that everyone typically has lunch around 1 o'clock or dinner around 5 or 6 o'clock. And then so essentially you want to kind of plan your meals around those busier times. Okay, moving on to number 4. We're not going to waste too much time on this because we haven't seen it at Universal in a while. This is another very, very popular question, and that is virtual lines. So some of the most popular Universal attractions during the peak times of year will have virtual queues where it's kind of like old school, you'll get a number and then once your number is called, you can then go and hop on a line. And now, like I said, we haven't seen the virtual queues in a very, very long time over at Universal Orlando, but coming into this video, as the time of the recording of this video, it is right around Christmas of 2022. The Grinch meet and greet did require a virtual queue, and that's why we thought it was very, very important just to make sure that we do have it back on this list. And the other important tip and trick, for the app is that Universal, they're not going to tell you, like going into your day, which attractions or which meet and greets are going to have the virtual queue. You're pretty much going to show up. And you'll see that there are going to be like signs around the park that will say, a barcode and say, join the virtual queue here. So you really do have to know about this going into your day. And again, it's not guaranteed, but if you do see it, like you then absolutely know what it is and then join the virtual queue that much quicker. Okay, so we are about halfway through, and I just wanted to very, very quickly just say thank you again so much for checking out our video. If you are finding this video helpful, and if you are in the process of planning a Universal Orlando trip, and you do think you need more videos like this, just be sure to go and subscribe to our channel, as we have a lot more similar content coming out in the coming weeks, and we really, really appreciate all of the support. Okay, so at number 5, we do have wait times and the interactive map. Now, you can check out all the wait times across the Universal Orlando Resort right on your phone, and this is probably the most basic and the main reason why a lot of families will download all of the apps. The other cool thing is that it is an interactive map, so you can kind of scroll around and you can pinpoint if you're hopping over to Islands of Adventure, you can very simply scroll over to Islands of Adventure and get an idea of what the wait times look like. You can also sort the rides by names, the type of rides, the shows, dining options, shopping options, and then there's also restroom locations, which is also very, very important. Taking it one step further, speaking of the rides, you can filter down and look for specifically just kids rides, water rides, roller coasters, stuff like that. And then the other cool tip and trick that we would say is that Universal has a wait time alert feature on the app that sends you notifications if your attraction falls below a certain wait time. And of course, taking it one step further, the map also has some helpful features like the Express Pass enabled locations, height restrictions, and of course dietary options throughout all of the different dining restaurants. Okay, so moving along over to number 6, and we have shows and character meet and greets. Now, of course, one thing you want to make sure you don't miss at Universal is the shows and the character meet and greets. This is probably more important over at Universal Studios Florida, which really is geared and based around a lot of old school movies and shows, of course. So all of the information for shows and meet and greets is in the Universal Orlando app, and it will help you plan your day or just plan, on the fly once you get down to Universal. Okay, and we haven't really spoken about Volcano Bay much, but over at number 7, we do have your e-wallet set up on the Universal Orlando app, because once you get over to Volcano Bay, you're going to see they have this thing called Tapu, which essentially allows you to then go and kind of create your own virtual queue to go on the lines. And then with the Tapu, you can actually pay throughout the park, so you don't have to worry about, bringing your wallet around on water rides, wet money, all that, stuff that you think of the old school water parks. Tapu is going to solve all that. But it is very, very important that you do have your e-wallet set up on the Universal Orlando app to allow you to easily transition to the Tapu. Okay, over at number 8, and again, this is probably one of those things that you really think about when you think of a theme park vacation. You might think about losing your car in the parking lot. Now, Universal, the parking lots are not as big as over as Disney, so I don't really see this being that much of a problem. With that being said though, another cool tip and trick and another cool feature is the in-app parking reminder. Now, just like it sounds, the in-app parking reminder will allow you to take a picture of your spot and then include the section, level, and row so you know exactly where to go after your day in the park. Okay, so moving on to number 9, and last but not least, we do have the chatbot. So there is a new in-app chatbot to ask questions and get real-time answers or connect daily with one of the Universal Orlando guest service team members. Now, I will say that I actually have never used this. I didn't know that they had this until we were doing our research to create all the tips and tricks for this video. And this is really the only tip and trick on this video that I personally have not done myself. With that being said, it does seem like it could be helpful, especially if you have any complicated questions during your trip, or just easy questions like, hey, when does my park ticket expire? Something as similar, something as simple as that. So we just wanted to make sure that we mentioned it. It is on the kind of bottom of the Universal Orlando app. But with that being said, it does seem like it can help a lot of families, especially if you're unsure who to ask and you don't feel like walking all the way to the front of the park to guest relations. So that is the list, everyone, from 1 down to 9. Those are some of the most common tips and tricks that we feel like every family should know about going into their Universal Orlando vacation. If there are any Universal Orlando app tips and tricks, if you're a Universal vet and I missed anything, just be sure to leave it in the comment section to help all the other families who do check out this video. And like I said, thank you all so much for checking out this video. I really do hope that you found that helpful. I hope that you are a little bit more prepared for your Universal Orlando trip, and hope you are a little bit more excited to get down to Universal for all the fun. I think that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.